Hi Flosstube, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. My name is Brandy and this is Mama Indica Crafts. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you to the people who subscribed after my whip parade. This is my first monthly update. This is Flosstube number 2. Today is January 27th, 2024. It's Saturday. I figured today we can go over a little bit of what I did in January, what I plan to do in February. We have some finishes, some haul, just a little bit of everything. For the people who are new, just a little warning, my channel can be a little chaotic and noisy at times. I'm a full-time caregiver for my son Lennon. He has some vocal tics following a stroke. So you may hear some noises here and there. Sorry, that's just life. My dog is also a whiny little ham sandwich, so you might hear him too. And when I'm not giving him my full attention, he whines. I figure today we can start off with finishes. I got a couple in January, which is kind of big for me because I'm a habitual starter, but I don't finish things very often. And you may see me looking over here at my notes here and there. I'm scatterbrained and I would not be able to figure out where I'm at without my notes. So my first finish for the year was one of my Whip Go calls for January. This is Canary Yellow from Rainbow Bright. This pattern came from a book that I bought off eBay. It's from 1985. It's called Color the World with Love. It's got all of the Rainbow Bright kids, all of the sprites, Starlight, all the fun stuff. And that's the first one I've done out of that book, but I do plan to do all of them. I think I'm going to use them to decorate my bathroom. So for our second finish of the year, we have, this one I did for my husband. This is Guy Fieri. It says, "There is no good or evil, only flavor." Now this pattern I got off Etsy from Descent Stitch. This one is done 2/1 full cross in DMC on a 14 count Aida. And I guess I should have told you Canary Yellow was also 2/1 on a 14 count Aida that I dyed myself yellow. But Guy Fieri, my husband is a chef, so I figured this would be just a cute little thing to hang up for him. I started him in sometime in 2023. This one I could not find where I wrote it down, but I finished him on the 19th of this month. And he was 1,785 stitches. I'm not sure how many stitches Canary Yellow is because she was straight from the book. Now, I've started doing things a little differently now, so I have stitch counts on the rest of the patterns from the book. But for that one, I don't have the exact stitch count. Now, those are the only 2 finishes I have for the year so far, but I'm hoping to get some more because Whip Go seems to be working out pretty well for me. So next, I think we'll go into the projects that I worked on in January, or in this case, didn't work on and was supposed to. So this one is, it's a mini Starry Night. It's one of the mini masterpieces from the Stitch Patterns on Etsy. I bought the whole shop for the mini masterpieces. But I got so distracted with everything else that I was working on. I was meant to finish this guy, and I literally did not put a single stitch in January. So no goal met there. That one is a 14 count navy Aida, 2/1 full cross DMC. and I'll try to stop zipping. It's a hard habit to break. The rest of my projects I did actually work on. That's the only one that I kind of ignored. But I had so much more fun stuff to work on that I just got distracted. So I've broken this up into categories. So I have some projects that I work year round. I have a couple projects that I consider quarterly. And then I have my monthly WIPGO projects. So we'll start with my year-round projects that I worked on in January. My oldest one first. So this is something that I'm working on for my son.
I love this one.
This is the one that kind of started my obsession with cross stitch again. I found this pattern, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to work it for my son. He is the biggest Mario fan probably that you will ever meet. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the view of what it's going to look like when it's done. And this was his first video game. It was also my first video game, and it's Super Mario World. And this is, sorry about the reflection from the ring light. I'm trying to figure out how to not do that. But it's the world map from Super Mario World. Now this project I've restarted twice. This version started in, let's see, December of 2022. I didn't write it down on my notes, of course not. I'm not going to take it out of the Q-Snap this time. I did on my WIP parade and showed the whole thing. But everything I've worked on in January is in the Q-Snap, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. But this is where I am now. And I am going to be inserting a picture of where I was at the beginning of the month. So I got all of this done and a lot of this outline. And then down here where the fortress, castle, and Star Road entrance are. Been tootling right along. Oh, and this really cute little needle binder, Six Sad World from Daria, came from Grandma Girl Designs on Etsy. I love her needle binders. And we started the month with 16,901 stitches. My goal for January was to get up to, goodness gracious, 18,500 stitches. And I got up to 19,001. So my goal was 1,599 stitches, and I got 2,100 stitches done. So I met my goal on that one, which, once again, is really good for me because I have a tendency to make plans and then they don't happen.
I think you're doing good.
Thank you, Lennon. Up next, we have my stitch along for the year. I like to try to do a temperature stitch along for the year. Last year it didn't pan out because my fabric came late and I started late, so I gave up after being about 8 months behind. But this one, I got everything on time, so I think we will be able to keep up. So let me pull up what it's going to look like. Now this design is from Climbing Goat Designs on Etsy. It's called the Moon Phase Temperature Stitch Along. Now this pattern, as soon as I saw it, I thought it was the coolest thing ever because every day is a moon, and it has the phase of the moon, and the shadowed portion is the low temperature for the day, and the lit portion is the high temperature for the day. And it's charted based on your time zone, where you are in the world. So much work went into this pattern. It's really just awesome. And obviously the mock-up is not going to be what mine is actually going to look like because I am in a different part of the world and my temperatures will be different. Oh, Sorry about the ring light again. But that is basically what it is going to look like. I had started the border last month, so I will insert a picture of where I was with that. My goal was to get through January 16th, and I did exactly that. I've got January 1st through 16th. I didn't put in any more work on the border this month because I was so focused on the moons. And I did make a minor adjustment. I did tell you last time that all of the moons would be done in Cosmo floss, but we had a crazy cold snap across most of the country, parts of the country. And here in Colorado, it dipped to below -5. And my temperature chart for my colors, I only set up to go below 0. I was not expecting those low of temperatures to hit us. So I adjusted one thing. I added a new category for below -5, and I found this really pretty Krynic. I'm not sure how it's going to show up on camera, but it's very light and iridescent, and it just reminds me of a snowflake. So I figured for the really freezing temperatures, I would use that just to be a little bit different from just the below 0, since there's such a big range there. So yeah, my goal was to get through the 16th, and I got through the 16th. This needle minder, is also, it's upside down, is also from Grandma Girl Designs. It's the Handbook for the Recently Deceased. She has all sorts of really cute pop culture ones. So those are my 2 year-round whips that I'm going to be working on every month. I'm hoping to get some really good progress. I'd like to finish the Mario map at some point in the next 5 years, hopefully. They're pretty large though. So my first quarterly project, and I'm doing these quarterly because I have a few larger full coverage pieces going that I want to actually get progress on. And I figured if I work on each one for a few months out of the year, I should be able to get quite a bit. So for this quarter, my full coverage project is Epic Pokemon Generation 1. So this project, this pattern was by Lord Libiden, but it was recolored by some members of a Facebook group for Pokemon Stitchers because some of the colors were just a little bit off from the original Pokemon. And they maxed out the colors. They brought it from about 100 colors to about 250, which is actually the flosses that you see hanging back here is mostly for this project, except for these two. And I will be inserting a picture of what it's looked like at the beginning of the month. And here is a mock-up of what it will look like when it is done, although I did change the background color to a dark purple because I didn't really care for doing the split red and blue background, and I thought a dark color would just make the colors pop a little more. So I started the month with 934 stitches. I ended the month with 5,039. My goal was to get to 5,000, so I did hit my goal. I did 4,105 stitches. Now this one is done on a 25 count gridded Lugana 2/1/10 stitch. That's where we are now. So I got quite a bit knocked out on this one. I was having fun with it. And now we'll go into what was called for WhipGo. So the first one that was called for WhipGo was a design by Granny Panties on Etsy. This one I started back. When did I start you? Of course I didn't write it down. This one I believe I started in January or February of 2023. It's called Dam, and this is the revamped version. So when you buy this pattern, you get an original version and a revamped, and the revamped just has more colors and a little more detail. So I started working this on 20 count Lugana 3/2 full cross in DMC, and I wanted to get the rainbow finished, the clouds finished, and then the bottom text done was my goal for the month. But when I got it out, I just wasn't really enjoying working on it. I don't really like... I wanted a bigger piece with like big stitches, but the 20 count I feel like was, with it being over 2, was just too big. And I don't like how big the piece is going to be when it's done. So after finishing the rainbow and, let me get it folded over here, one of the clouds, I did decide that I am probably going to UFO this piece and just use the rest of the fabric for something else. I'm probably going to restart it on maybe a 14 count. But I'm not sure when I'm going to restart it. It's not really on my radar right now. But yeah, so I didn't make the goal, but I did decide it is probably not going to be continued to be worked on. That is the only piece that I've UFO'd this month. So the other two Whip-Go call, or the other Whip-Go call I had was Canary Yellow, that was a finish. And then I do a third number. I just use a random number generator to pull a third project from my Whip-Go list because I like having an extra one. And that was Guy Fieri, and he got finished. The other projects I worked on this month were new starts. I had a few. The first one, when I finished Canary Yellow, I decided I wanted to start another one of the Color Kids. And this is also on a self-dyed fabric. I'm having fun with the Rit dye lately. I wanted my fabrics for the Color Kids to kind of coordinate with them because I felt like white fabric would just be kind of boring. So I decided to go with Patio Green for my next Color Kid. And this is what she's going to look like when she's done. So what I have done differently with the rest of the Color Kids as opposed to Canary Yellow, I started putting the patterns into a program on my computer so that I could convert them into PDF for Pattern Keeper. I just was not enjoying working off paper patterns. And to me, it was worth the extra few hours of putting it into WinStitch to get a PDF. So that's why it is on my tablet now. And I did that with all of the Rainbow Bright patterns. I also went ahead and did that with a couple of the patterns that I'm going to show you in my haul. Because I'm spoiled by Pattern Keeper, honestly. So for this one, this is how far I am. We've got part of her face and part of her dress done. My goal was to get her to 600 stitches for the month, and we got her to 607. So we met our goal for that one. Now she is getting put away and added to the Whip-Go board in case. So I swapped out Canary Yellow, who was on there twice, for Patio Green. So if Canary Yellow gets called for the second number, then I'll be pulling her out and working on Patty. My second new start for the month was also from the Rainbow Bright book. I saw this fabric at my LNS and I decided I had to go ahead and do Rainbow Bright, um, even though I had just started Patty. So for those of you who don't know Rainbow Bright, let's pull her up. This is what she is going to look like. Now, I decided to be a little extra with her, and the fabric that I found was a 14 count from Picture This Plus in Demoiselle, which has blues and greens and pinks and purples, and it's just perfect for Rainbow Bright. And I haven't really worked with fancy flosses or anything other than DMC for the most part. And I decided that I wanted to try out some different flosses. So I went with some classic Colorworks for her instead of the called for DMC. And I'm really liking how it's turning out. Her hair is supposed to be 2 different tones of yellow. And I ended up finding 2 different dye lots of the same color for the classic Colorworks, and I think it's turning out nicely. That's where we are with her. We've got most of her hair and a little bit of her face. Honestly, I was getting tired of yellow, so I had to move down to the face last night. And she's 2/1. Like I said, classic Colorworks on the 14 count. My goal for her for the month was, where was it? 1,200. And I ended up doing 1,831. So I went over by quite a bit. I was just really enjoying working on her. Which is a trend. I've been really enjoying most of my projects this month. And then I have one more new start. So this one, I completely redid the colors on it. And I picked the colors before I picked the pattern. Once again, I was wanting to play with different flosses, and I've never used silks. So I went on Bestitch Me, and I found a really pretty piece of fabric. It's a 16 count in Nightshade. It was in there ready to ship, and I just thought it was pretty. And then I picked out 5 of their silks that I really like the color palette. It is a little bit of a 90s color palette, I will admit, but I wanted to find a pattern to go with it that I thought would work well with 5 colors. I wanted something maybe kind of Quakery, and I found this pattern by Romy's Creations. It's called Love My Dog Quaker, and I do indeed love my dogs. Like I said, the called for flosses, though, aren't available anymore. They were originally from Romy's Creations also, but I don't see any flosses available from them anymore. So it actually worked out perfectly. And with my colors that I selected, this is what it is going to look like. Or as close as I could get with the little color wheel. And this is where I'm at now. So my goal was to get to 500 stitches, and I went way over on this one too. I got up to 1,425. I was just really enjoying stitching with the silk. It's just so smooth and soft. I just really enjoyed that. So Rainbow Bright is going to be a new quarterly piece. So I'm going to keep working on her, but Love My Dog is going to get put in rotation as well, so that I don't have quite as many on the go all the time. So that's everything that I worked on in January, and I did a little bit of math, and I did 17,138 stitches this month. And you may hear a little rustling. My son is a little snackish.
I am hungry.
So I figure next we'll go into what I'm going to be working on in February, and my goals for that. we'll start with our whip go calls for February. So the first number that was called, actually let me put this up real quick. The first number that was called was 3. And for me, that coincided with my lemon gnomes. This is a pattern by Kits by S.A. Stitch on Etsy. So this one's also for my son. I do a lot of patterns for my son.
I like her art.
His nickname is Lennon the Lemon. So he loves lemon things. And he loves gnomes. So when I saw this, I figured, hey, that is the perfect pattern for Lennon.
They steal our stuff.
Where is the... There it is. So this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. This one I haven't put into wind stitch because I'm so far along on it. I just figured I'd finish it on paper. But this is where I'm at. So I've got 3 of the 5 gnomes completely done, including backstitch, and I've started on the 4th. My goal for February is to complete this. I'm estimating there's about 1,000 stitches remaining, give or take 100. This was started in March of 2023. But yeah, I'm wanting to finish this one this month. This is the only finish I have scheduled for this month, unless I go back and work on Mini Starry Night, which is going to stay in my whip list each month until I finish it, but it's not one of my priorities. And Kits by S.A. Stitch has so many cute gnomes on their site. I have a lot of other patterns lined up for when I'm done with this one. The next number that was called for February is 24. For me, that coincides with a pattern called Lavender. It's by Susan Bates. I found it on Pinterest from gathered.how. It's got 5 or 6 different patterns in it. But I have completed one last year for my mom, and this one I'm doing for my mom as well. So these are the 6 patterns. I've already completed this one up here for my mom's birthday, and the bottom right, the seed packet, is the one I'm working on now. I am not sure which way is up on this one. I'm going to be honest. I think it goes this way. But I just have a little bit of the cream color done. My goal for this one is to get it to be 50%, which is about 1,100 stitches. It is on a 25 count moss Lugana that I got from my LNS here in Colorado Springs. So they have these scrap fabric bins there, full of different colors and counts and sizes and shapes. And I love digging through them for my small projects because I can always find a really nice piece of fabric for a good deal. That one also started in March of 2023. I had a lot of starts that month. And I want to get that one done for my mom's birthday in June this year. And my bonus call for February, because like I said, I pull a 3rd number on my own, is Rainbow Cat. And it's by Cross Stitch TR on Etsy. It is on a 16 count Aida. This one I've gridded myself because it was before I found pre-gridded Ada, which is a wonderful invention. And I'm sorry for the dangling thread on this one. I kind of just stopped working on it suddenly. I think I wanted the Q-snap for something else. But this is what that's going to look like. And once again, sorry for that dangly thread. And this is where I'm at on it. My goal for it is to get it up to 4,750 stitches. I'm at 3,740 something right now. 43, I think. 46. So I want to get 1,000 stitches done on it for the month. I'm also going to be deciding whether or not to continue on it. And my reason for that is the coverage for the really dark colors is not what I would like. I feel like maybe I should have been using 3 strands instead of 2 for that really dark blue, because you can see some of the fabric through it. And I'm not sure I like that. But I'm going to work on it, see how I like it this month, and decide what to do with it from there. This one I think I started in December of 2022. So this was one of the first projects I started when I stopped being a monogamous stitcher. Because for a couple of years, the only thing I was working on was the main map for Super Mario World. But it was the one I was working on before I restarted it. I had mismeasured my fabric, and that was sad. Because I think I had finished either 4 or 5 pages before I realized that I had measured wrong.
Sad day.
It was a sad day. So then my quarterly goals for February. I'm going to be working on Rainbow Bright for February for the quarter. My goal is to have one of the kids done, or sprites once I get to the sprites, done every quarter until I get them all done. So this quarter it's going to be Rainbow Bright. My goal for her is to get her from 1,831 stitches up to 3,500. So that'll be 1,669 stitches that I want to get done on her. And then my other quarterly project is Pokemon, which I'll pull it back out because it's right here. And right now it's at 5,039 stitches, and I would like to get it up to 8,000. So 2,961 is where I would like to get on it. And then I have some new starts that I want to do. Oh, sorry, I forgot the year round. For the Super Mario World map, I am at 19,001 stitches right now, and I would like to get to 22,500, which I'm hoping will finish out most of all of the trees that fill up this area. That's 3,499 stitches, if I didn't just say that. And then my moon phase stitch along, I have gotten through January 16th. And for the month of February, I would like to finish January and get through February 20th. If I can get a little bit done on the border as well, I will be happy. So I'm estimating that at about 1,375 stitches is what I'm hoping for that, because each moon is 37. So that's where I'm at there. Now we can go into new starts. I was way too excited about them. My first new start, this year I want to expand my horizons. months. So all I've really done in the past is more pop culture-y things, you know, the Mario, the Pokemon. If you watched my Whip Parade, you'll see I have some Invader Zim in there. But it's mostly pop culture. And I would like to get into trying a few other styles. Like the Love My Dog Quaker. That's the first Quaker that I've tried, but I have a couple more on my list that I want to do this year. Some samplers I want to try. I'd like to try some different styles, different types of fabrics, venture away from the ones that I've been more comfortable with. Try some fancy flosses, try beading. I just want to try everything. So the first start that I have set up for this month is from Lindy Stitches. And let me find her. And this pattern is called the Walk Fast Sampler. Now this is a quote from Golden Girls. Rose is probably my favorite Golden Girl. Betty White is just amazing. And the quote is, "It's like that old Scandinavian saying, you can lead a herring to water, but you have to walk fast or he'll die." And I just thought that was so cute, especially in like the more traditional looking sampler style. So I had to get that one. I'm going to be doing that one. Actually, let me pull out my fabric. I was going to save this box for haul, but we will go ahead and pull out what we're starting this month. So this we're going to be doing on a 32 count Lugana, which is my first time using anything higher than a 25. But we're going to do it. And this is in the color Sahara Dust. I'm not sure how well that color. It's just a really light neutral. Now I am thinking about, sorry about the camera shake, my dog decided he wanted to come over and put his big old pitty bull head right up in the cord.
He's blocky.
He's blocky. I am considering possibly tinting this fabric just a little bit more of a peachy tone, because with the floss colors, which they're classic colorworks and they're just beautiful, the palette's just gorgeous. I feel like maybe a little bit of a peachy tone might complement that just a little bit better. But that I'm going to be starting this month. And if I'm going to dye that fabric, I should probably go ahead and do that. So that's that project. And I've got everything I need for it all kitted up. Now, my works in progress, all my whips, I keep in project bags I got off Amazon. I actually just got those this month as well. I was using the big hefty 2.5 gallon like zipper bags, which they work great, but for some of the projects, they just wear out faster. So I'm hoping that the Amazon bags last longer. But for my projects that I have kitted up, I use these binder folders, just the expandable file folders. And they just keep everything together for me, which is great. So my next project that I'm going to be starting this month is from Blackbird Designs. This one also is for my son. His name is Lennon, so I'm sure you can guess we're Beatles fans. And I saw this pattern, and this is the one that kind of inspired me to start branching out, because I saw it and I said, oh my gosh, that's just so cute. And it's the Yellow Submarine. This is the 5th out of a series of 6 from the Magical Mystery Tour. I intend to do at least 3 of the 6, possibly 4. But this will be my first one. I do not have the fabric yet for it, but it should be here on Monday, which I'm super stoked about. It is going to be a 28 count Lugana in the color Mystical Seas from Needlework by Jim, or Needlework with Jim on Etsy. And this is my first time using the Gentle Arts flosses. And I love the color palette. I think that's going to be so pretty. So those are the 2 new starts that I have planned for this month. That does not mean that they're going to be the only 2 new starts for this month, because I'm a little impulsive when it comes to stuff like that. And if I see a pattern and kit it up, I'm probably going to start it. But I guess we'll see on my next video at the end of this month. My goal on each one of my new starts for the month is going to be to get 1,000 stitches in, which I think should easily be doable. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get more than that because I'm going to get really into it and really enjoy stitching these. So my goal for February comes out to a little over 14,600 stitches. And since I did over 17,000 last month, I don't think that that's an undoable goal at all. And I guess that kind of concludes my projects and my goals for the month. If you're interested in haul and seeing what I've bought this month, stick around. I've bought a few things. I've showed you part of it because I went ahead and showed you what I kitted up for Walk Fast and Yellow Submarine. But I also made a little trip to my local LNSs, which I have 2. I have one here in Colorado Springs, and then I have a bigger one up in Denver that I don't get to make the trip up there very often, but I love it when I do. So we'll start with Ruth's that's here in Colorado Springs. I went in to look at fabric, and I impulsively bought this pattern, Halloween Terrarium, because I thought it was just super cute. It's from Tiny Modernist. This is my first pattern by them, too. This I probably won't start until fall, but it was just too cute to pass up. And I also got the flosses for Yellow Submarine there as well, which, you know, like I said, I love my little LNS. It's so nice to be able to go in the store and see all of the pretty flosses and fabrics and colors. And the LNS here in Colorado Springs is also a quilt shop. And they have the most beautiful quilts hanging up everywhere in the store. It's just a beautiful little shop. So then I went to a stitching shop in Denver. And there, I got a little out of hand, and I decided that I was going to get my very first Mirabilia, and get started on that. And so I decided that I would go with Alice for my first one, because I love Alice in Wonderland. It was between this and Princess Eliana, which I will definitely, if I enjoy stitching this, which I'm sure I will definitely be going back and doing that one when I'm finished with this one. So I picked up the pattern. I also picked up the fabric and the fancy flosses and the beads and, let's see, some needles and a little bead mat. So instead of the called for fabric, which they didn't really have, I found this fabric. It's called Lavender Sunset. I am not sure who the dyer is because it wasn't written on the little card. It is a 28 count Jobelin. I'm sorry, this one's not a Lugana. This one's a Jobelin in Lavender Sunset. And I'm going to see if I can get the color to kind of show up. But it's a very, the purple isn't showing up. But it's a very pale lavender with green modeling. And I thought that that would just complement Alice so well. It's got a couple of the metallic DMCs that I haven't worked with before, so I've heard horror stories and I'm kind of excited about that. It's got a couple of colors of the Water Lilies silk flosses, which are so pretty and soft. I can't wait to use those. And then, of course, we have our beads. Which I've never beaded anything before either, so Alice should be an adventure. You get back in your little envelope.
Switch.
Hang on, Lennon.
No, I'm just taking.
I also did a little shopping on Etsy. So there is a little shop on Etsy called Jen's Stitching Niche, and she's located here in Colorado too. Even though it's on Etsy, I still kind of consider it an LNS because at least I'm shopping local. And that's where I got all of my flosses for Walk Fast. That's also where I got Yellow Submarine, and then I also went ahead and got the fourth pattern in the Magical Mystery Tour series as well, which is Octopus's Garden. Now, I haven't gotten any of the fabric or flosses or anything for it yet, but I'm definitely excited to get this one going once I finish Yellow Submarine. And Jen's Stitching Niche on Etsy, you should definitely go check her out because she has a variety of classic colorworks, gentle arts flosses, some fabrics, tons of patterns. She's great, and she ships super fast. I also did my first mystery floss box this month from Night Stalker's Calling. The theme for January was Rainbow Bright, and when Etsy suggested it to me, I had to get it because it's Rainbow Bright. It's kind of a no-brainer. So it comes with 3 skeins of 10 yards, and the ones that it came with are these beautiful flosses. We have Lala Orange, Shy Violet, and Rainbow Sprite are our colors. And I'm not sure what I'm going to use them on yet, but I am sure I will find something fun to use them with. I also bought a skein of floss from Live and Die LA. This is called Taste the Rainbow. And it's probably the most accurate rainbow, like as far as just red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple that I've seen. And I've bought this before, but I'm almost out, and I'm using it for a blackwork project, which I may or may not show on my next video, but I needed a little bit more, so I went ahead and ordered that. Let's see. I also ordered a couple more digital patterns off of Etsy, and I'll pull up the main picture. So the Love My Dog Quaker, there's also a Love My Cat, which I also love my kitty cats. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm not sure what color palette I'm going to use yet, because once again, it uses calls for Romy's Creations floss, which isn't available anymore. And then, oh, it doesn't have a cover photo. Let me fix that. So I also ordered a pattern by Stitchman Darcy on Etsy called Let Me Take You Down. It's another Beatles pattern. And it says living is easy with eyes closed. So that's my other chart that I bought.
I thought it was Strawberry Fields.
That's the name of the song, but
Oh.
the pattern is called Let Me Take You Down. It is from the song Strawberry Fields, though. You are absolutely right. So that's pretty much everything for January. Everything that I bought, everything I started and finished and worked on. I'm hoping that February is going to be just as active and full of stitchy days. Really, the only days that I missed stitching this month were days that I was putting in all of my patterns on WinStitch, which I would say took probably about 4 or 5 days, consistently of working on it. But I got all of them done, so that's what matters to me. I don't have to put any more of them in, and I can get them all stitched. So that pretty much covers it for this month. I look forward to seeing you again next month. If you are still here after this 45 minutes to an hour, however long it's been, thank you. I hope to see you again, and if you want to see more videos, just subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.